All right, folks, we're back. Thanks for sticking around through that break. So while this happened, Ryung and jjakji did finish up their first match. I believe currently it's 1-0 in the favor of jjakji. I'm just going to try and confirm that with the players before we get into this game. The winner of this will move on to fight against Sue in a TvZ, and that should be pretty fantastic.
Cool.
I gotta say, jjakji's actually been looking better lately, too. He really fell to the wayside last year, I gotta say. I think, like, performance-wise, and not just, you know, GSL and other Korean events, but even in the foreign scene. Like, he wasn't really holding up to foreigners in some cases.
Oh yeah, he wasn't looking good at all. I'm surprised. I would say that I thought he was going to retire. He's one of the... Well, he was one of the younger guys, so I guess he had a couple more years in him. But still, he was not doing very well. I thought it was just going to be... fade into obscurity.
Well, what's great about this for the starting game is, well, we didn't see that first map. We know for a fact Ryung has actually been looking very good lately. Ryung has been in his best form that he's been in recent years, and the fact that jjakji, a player who we've been kind of like wishy-washy about, is up 1-0 is actually pretty good to see. But as I say that, I put the scoring correctly on the scoreboard. There we go. Thank you to Srilo and Snark Angel for your resubs. And let's hop into it. It's game 2 in the Olimoleague. Quick reminder that if you're watching this, we did not cast game number 1. And in the bottom left side, we've got the red Terran player, jjakji.
In the top right is the blue Terran. He is Ryung.
So you've been at Nation Wars recently, for those who are wondering where Zombie Grub's been. And you got something that happened at Nation Wars that I was insanely jealous about.
What?
I'm going to see if you can guess what this is before I give it away. I'll say it has to do with units that are currently on the field.
I don't remember.
You had Nathanius actually use the spray cans from the SCVs.
Oh!
And I was like, oh my god, it finally happened! Somebody actually used the little spray feature on the workers. So cool.
I feel like we've seen that. Like, I feel like I saw that before Nation Wars.
We saw it one time before Nation Wars, and that was when it was still bugged, so that it would show through the fog of war, so everybody stopped using it, because everyone assumed it was still bugged even after it got fixed.
Huh.
So I love that you guys are just getting, I'm not sure who was observing, but they watched Nate's like scout and then psst, like right down in the enemy base and stuff.
Yeah. Kevin. German Kevin. It's too many Kevins.
German Kevin.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's, you know, Rotterdam Kevin. So.
Well, TvT has been heading a lot of interesting directions, but pretty much all roads lead to two general main roads, and that's either Banshees for the opener, or alternatively, Marines and Tanks.
Sorry. All roads lead to two main roads.
Well, they do. It's like a bunch of little intersections, like, coming towards the highway, right? They've all got the little on-ramps and such.
What? I thought you were talking about a fork in the road at first.
Fork in the road? Well, I guess it's still kind of the same thing, like, except it's backwards. Like, you're not...
Are we in a Cloverfield where, like, 4 players are coming into, like, the same intersection?
Cloverfield would involve Zerg players, I think, so I don't think so.
Oh, you.
And a lot shakier cameras. But okay, it's Cyclones for the opener out of both. Cyclones have been proven to be really powerful. Their anti-air is kind of still up in the air as far as question marks, but they can beat down about any unit in the game very quickly. Reapers, Marines, doesn't matter. A little bit of a scuffle over here. Both players walk away with their Reapers alive.
Yeah, very similar builds. So the Cyclone is still the safest opener, as you said. The anti-air is still pretty bad, but since people are opening up even with Ravens, I really don't think that anti-air is as important as it once was. Basically, back when Lakes of the Void was released, everyone was going Banshees, and then everyone realized Cyclones are good against Banshee openers as well as everything else. So that's why Cyclones were originally the, you know...
But then Cyclones had their anti-air nerfed to the ground.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these units we used to kind of refer to as the Terran Mothership cores. They can't really do that one job, covers all bases sort of thing anymore. It is worth noting, though, both players are playing a little bit more defensive. That's not to say Banshees won't still come out, but they've both opened with kind of anti-Banshee openers, which, again, in a lesser way, just speaks to how common that they tend to be. So you're playing it really safe on this part.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that jjakji went for a Viking, but if he continues making Vikings and can afford tanks as well, then he could do a pretty nice push. You don't have a lot of Marines with it, but it still has like that positional advantage. He stops making Vikings. I really, unless you have a specific purpose for getting a Viking first, like you definitely want to win the Viking War and then you add on a reactor to the starport or something like that. I like the Raven first better.
I do too. You get a lot more energy on it for when you finally get a fight going down. That means suddenly you've got 3 auto turrets instead of barely 1. You've got the detection, obviously, that's innate, but nobody's really using seeker missiles anymore. Auto turrets are just so good for like a million different reasons.
Yo, did you see the major game in Nation Wars?
No.
Oh man, you would have loved it. He went triple starport.
Nice.
Like on 2 bases. Well, and
unfortunately, all those games that I heard the hype about took place after like 5-hour casts, so I was pretty much ready to sleep. I'd stayed up and I cheered for like Canada and USA, and then I passed out pretty quickly afterwards. Did you see my awesome Scarlet celebratory art?
Yes, I retweeted it. Of course.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, totally. But anyway, he I was gonna say he used secret missiles because he was having a mass air army. But, to be fair, it only used like 2 of them. It was mostly about liberators and banshees. He opened with speed banshees. That's specifically why I thought you'd like it.
Oh, I'll have to actually go back and look through those VODs then.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, anyway, but you're right. No one really uses secret missiles anymore. Even though you could still kill a tank with it with double secret missile. Back in the old days, you could do that.
Yeah, they changed it a bit though. So the secret missile costs like 125. You can't really launch 2 of them out to kill a tank like you used to. Which, yeah, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I don't remember when they changed that either.
I'm not sure.
The Raven went through a couple of different overhauls, so it's probably just stuck in with one we didn't notice because things like auto turrets were such a bigger deal. Seriously, 24 damage a shot. it's pretty crazy. But keeps the Raven alive, just kind of falls back for the time being. While this goes on, no one's really reaching out for a third. Both players just putting a lot of focus on that production, and frankly, I like Ryung's army, but not that jjakji's is much worse for it.
Oh yeah, their armies ended up being pretty similar despite the difference between a Raven and a Viking. No one actually tried to get that air dominance and went pretty quickly into tanks, really.
Yeah, it's a little bit disconcerting, though, because I feel like in the past, 3 tanks versus 7 tanks meant a big deal. Nowadays, like 3 defensive tanks can actually take on like 7 offensive tanks given certain situations. It's not as bad as a difference. The immobility has become a very interesting factor for TvT.
Well, it's not like we're not used to it. There was 6 years of the mobile tanks before there was flying tanks.
Yeah, but I mean, the most recent 3 have been like emphasis on, or not 3, but like 1.5, I guess, have been emphasis on the flying tanks. Regardless of this, both players going for the attack. A bit of a base trade underway, so you're going to have defensive tanks. Speaking of which, on this side, unfortunately, it doesn't look to be much here for jjakji. He just pulls everything back to the main, taking no risk. Going to lose a lot of supply. This is going to put a supply block beyond repair.
Yeah, as well as the supply depots, he just obviously has to give up his natural, which Ryung is kind of still holding on to. He's still mining.
Oh, I like this. So if he puts the tanks over here in this position to the left, he'll at least be able to still cause some damage. But yeah, as far as this is concerned, Ryung's definitely taking the better start of this fight. And if this becomes 1 base versus 2, eventually attrition kills jjakji more than anything else. But Ryung's already building Liberators, so this position's only going to be a temporary problem for him.
Ew, this looks quite bad.
Where's that Viking? He needs to bring that Viking back. This would actually push back these medevacs pretty nicely.
It would help for sure. But this game is it's going south. We have Ryung long distance mining, which is kind of funny, but still a good use of his SCVs.
Better than just chilling.
Pushing back the tanks of jjakji on the offensive. Things looking quite good for Ryung.
This is cool. I guess we're just so used to seeing players leave the workers AFK in these scenarios. I actually really like the long distance mining. It's dangerous because maybe you get caught, but as we see Liberties push back those tanks, not so easily picked up. Only 1 gets out of there alive. Marines decide to push in. They get caught by some of the drops, and the drops get caught by the Marines. So who's really getting caught in this situation? Ryung takes the victory and ties up the series now 1-1.
GG.
Yeah, like we said, Ryung, for me, like it was a bit surprising that he was down a game to begin with, but that game was pretty convincing. I thought he played that out very well.
Yeah. Do you want to try and shout out this new sub, since you learned so much Korean?
No, I wouldn't. I know what it says, but I don't need to prove it to anybody. Would you like to try and shout out our new Korean friend?
Well, sure. Actually, where does it not show up on Twitch alerts because it's in Korean? Oh, there it is. I just did refresh. Let's see here. Bogolia.
I went to Google Translate and found similar results. But also, if you just Google it, it brings you to like Expedia.
Bogolia. Well, at first I checked to see if it was like, you know, a loan word, and then it wasn't. And then I uh-oh. Okay, well, we'll get him in next time, I guess.
Oh, what's the uh-oh?
Oh, Gaming is supposed to follow us now? From now on? So, they were supposed to join this one, perhaps?
Oh, they're actually casting live?
Yeah, I guess so.
They've done replays for the past year, so it's a bit surprising, I guess. But cool beans. Thank you to the Korean fella who subbed, or not fella? What's the gal? Whatever. And then, of course, Secretary's Kill hitting us with a 19-month resub, and Ganther Thor 87 for the 31 months. Thank you guys for your continued support. But getting into game number 3, things are now tied up 1-1, and of course, we're very excited because the winner of this goes on to fight against Sue. Spawning in the upper left side, though, we got the red Terran. It is none other than jjakji.
In the bottom right is the blue Terran. He is Ryung.
And Ryung puts his depot a little bit in the back, which is odd to see. I think the argument of the 5 to 10 minerals you save not walking around isn't as big because you start off with the extra 4 SCVs, so I'm not sure what he's hoping to accomplish with this. Just for me right off the bat, you're like, okay, well, if jjakji pushes with like 2 Reapers and a Hellion, there's nothing to keep him from getting in the base, and that could be really bad for Ryung. So we'll see if the extra minerals are worth it or not.
The days of, because that was another thing that happened in early Legacy of the Void. It wasn't about the tank drops or, you know, Raven or Viking opener. It was actually a lot more about 2 Hellions running into the base and killing people, and we were like, oh, I just wall off. Like, walling off seems like a really good idea. It hasn't happened recently. I don't know exactly what changed. Maybe people started being 2 Reapers instead of just 1, and that really helped them defensively, or maybe people usually do wall off, but I feel like it doesn't hurt as much. But it seems unnecessary.
By the way, this sub shout-out's definitely for you.
Is it? Which one? This one? Dot KTML? Which sounds like a radio host. Thank you for the level 1 resub. It says, welcome back, Zombie Grub. When you said definitely for you, it kind of sounded like it would be something, you know, like a joke or funny or clever or someone I knew. But it was actually just for me because it said, welcome back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure you're fully aware of this, of just how many I miss Zombie Grub, bring Zombie Grub back, where's Zombie Grub? Did they break up? What's happening? How's the fight? What's the drama? Like, while you're gone, I think there's more questions about you not being here than there was about, like, any of the games we were casting.
Yeah, I was in some of the chats watching BaseTradeTV.
Yeah, dude.
I saw some people.
People missed you.
Saw some other people, and I banned them. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Banned in 1 weeks.
Oh, my.
Weeks, I say.
I will say, it's nice to have you back, though, because it'll put an end to all those questions. It's just kind of like, I could have a banner flying in the middle of the screen that would say what was going on. People still would be like, where's Zombie Grub? Anyways, there's a bit of a proxy going in and out of Ryung, so the starport's not coming at home. Production tab looks normal, but it's not. Don't be deceived. The Reaper's also being pretty aggressive right now. Unfortunately, Joshy's not going to scout, maybe? Oh, no, the Hellion or the Cyclone will push that off, so this is not super crazy. You're not like, oh my god, a Liberator, it's the end of the world. You know, Terran's got usually the ability to lift off, move if it's necessary. Raven comes out, auto turrets can be good. They can't be attacked by the Liberator, for example.
Why would you need to lift off as the Liberator? That just makes it
I'm
able
not
to
saying
attack
you would. I'm just saying, like, unlike Zerg, you're not totally just screwed. You're not just like SOL type thing.
They have queens. How are they even? How are they less SOL or more SOL?
Because you get some pretty disgusting positions. You can't move a hatchery.
Maybe with Liberator range.
Forget the Liberator for a
Jeez.
moment. The Liberator might not even be necessary. Ryung's coming in with a force to be reckoned with, and the Cyclone will kill a command center. Normally, Hellions and Reapers, they don't have enough damage for this.
Oh, if they kill the Cyclone, that actually might be game over.
Oh, this is bad.
Oh, no.
I mean, even if the auto turret gets wasted here, then there's nothing to stop that Liberator, which is now cruising into the main, and this is going to be really bad. He's got... Oh, there's no shame in this. Ryung just sets up right above the mineral line. The fight goes not badly. jjakji will be able to push this back, albeit very barely, but this still costs him so much mining. All the SCVs are done. GGs get called, and Ryung takes the series 2-1.
Harsh.
Now, I can't remember. Did Ryung play against Sue in the Olimoleague finals last year? All I remember is those grand finals. I don't remember who Sue played in the semifinals. It was either Ryung or Gumiho, I think, right?
I don't know.
Olimoleague 2016. Go for them Google results, but either way, that doesn't really matter because the point still is this to be a great matchup. Sue versus Ryung are two players who I think are more of the underdogs in terms of like name and fame, but they're two players that we really appreciate here on the channel and we've seen a lot of good games from. So I'm certainly excited to see how that goes. But we're going to go to a commercial break while games get set up. Don't go anywhere, guys. When we return, it's going to be Sue versus Ryung.